Yeah, I was going to say I'd be remiss in not mentioning one other attack that I think about a lot, specifically in the context of zero trust, which is the NotPetya attack. When basically not this was a Russian attack on Ukraine that came in through Ukraine's version of TurboTax software, some tax reporting software that everyone in Ukraine is mandated to use. And unfortunately, it didn't just hit the target, Ukraine government agencies and postal service, railways, et cetera. It hit any company that had even a single employee based in Ukraine. What were they able to do with that? Well, in Merck's case, they were able to hijack Merck's manufacturing, their vaccine production lines, just through one employee in Ukraine's access. They were able to get to the vaccine production line, so much so that Merck had to tap into the CDC's emergency supplies of the Gardasil vaccine that year. And if you went back in time and you asked Merck, what are your crown jewels? Because this was always my advice as a non-technical person. People always ask me, what should I do? I say, well, I'm not technical, but you should use multi-factor authentication. And then you need to ask yourself, what are your crown jewels? And you need to do everything you possibly can to make sure you are protecting your crown jewels. Well, if you were going to rewind the tape and ask Merck, what are your crown jewels? Maybe they would have told you it's their IP, their intellectual property around some of their drug development. And that would have been true at the time. But after NotPetya, they have to expand their imagination about what are their crown jewels to their manufacturing processes. Because if their manufacturing is hijacked, they're facing an existential crisis. So suddenly this challenge of how do I just secure the crown jewels, the IP, is now how do I secure the manufacturing? And that's when you really have to ask yourself, wait a minute, why do all of these contractors and employees I'm not even familiar with have privileged access to our manufacturing lines? And that's where it's critical that you can just visualize who has access to what. And I think that's kind of where you come in, Tarun and Veza, is for the first time you can see, it doesn't matter where the data sits, you can see who specifically has access to that, and you can revoke access to everyone whose name you've never heard of, or any contractor that's an HVAC vendor that doesn't actually need permanent access to things like your manufacturing line. So, this is critical, and it's really hard to do, but I think the first step is visibility, and we haven't even tried to get there.